Big dog.
What's up, man?
How you doing, big man?
I'm doing well, man. I've had one of those long, fast-paced days. I started at 7 a.m. I didn't get my first break till 2, and the break was to go to the track with the family and run.
Yeah.
And literally ran off the track, got straight back, got into a coaching call from 4 to 4:30, got onto a cool call that I'm part of now with some minds. And then I went to the house to take a shower, and my family challenged me to a bike race. Like, not really a bike race, but we have like this little workout we do of like Tabata type stuff on the spin bike. So I went in to take a shower and ended up coming back sweatier. And then now we're here, and then I got a team meeting after this meeting, and then I get to take a shower.
Yo, the Anthony Trucks
How you doing,
family, though, man, like, y'all are always
we roll, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
And my wife,
dude,
my wife is the one. Everybody thinks that I'm the guy that's always in like this, like I'm a competitor, and I am a competitor, don't be wrong. But my wife, bro, like everything's a competition. Will I come home and it's like, how many push-ups can you do? I bet you can't throw this over there in that basket. Like, calm it down. My son and I, like, he's 15, we'll look at each other like, bro, is she serious right now? Everything's a competition. Hey, but I love her.
But
Let's
be honest, though. Let's be honest, man. Wifey throws out the competition, but I know you're bringing, everybody in the family's bringing the heat, though.
Every time. I don't like losing ever on anything. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. I try to break souls when we play games. I want their little souls crushed. But I try to make it difficult so that my kids get an opportunity to win, and they actually win. I want them to be elated. I want them to be like, this was amazing kind of thing. So, I try to make them lose so that when they win, it matters more to them.
I feel you, man. I feel you. My son's 4, so he's just getting into sports, and you know, not everybody gets the trophy, dog. Like, you know,
they shouldn't,
because you played the game. So as a parent, I can relate to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have those conversations, like, yo, you can't always win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's pretty much how it is. I think it's a problem with society is we're moving away from the aspect to where it's like we are robbing children of their hardships. We're robbing them of the moments to feel less than, which allows them to realize, like, hey, you're not actually, it's just you lost. So give them lessons. So because we're robbing them of those hardships, we're robbing them of the lessons they can learn. And it's problematic, man. It's going to be an interesting world, like, farther down the road. Like, the lack of communication kids have, like human skills to communicate back and forth, how to handle hardships. And the problem is, when the kids get older, they're going to be met with situations that they're going to shut down on, but they have way more responsibilities now. They might have a bigger career or a family, and something pops in that shuts them down. They're programmed for that, and it's difficult. So I need my kids to struggle now. I need them to have problems now so we can navigate it while they're in my home. So later on, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know how to deal with this. Dad taught me when I was 10 or 12 or 13, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I feel you. And I look back on all my you know, biggest successes. It all came from learning shit on my own, man. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's there, you know, if the thing is we have the resources to bail our kids out at all times now.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to figure out, like, they need to figure out some shit on their own. Right? So we can talk about parenting all day, man, but how are you doing in this pandemic? You know what I'm saying?
I'm great.
What the fuck is going on?
People don't want to hear it from me because it's a weird thing. My world hasn't completely changed. If anything, now part of it's how I operate, how I look at situations. I always find silver linings, but I'm doing what I've typically been doing for the longest time. Like someone says, do you think this is the new normal? One, this is not the new normal. It'll change, it'll shift, but it's kind of like when you put food coloring into food. Like, it's still water, but now it's blue. There's always going to be that nuance floating because more people are going to be exposed to stuff. So for me, I'm just at the house. My kids are around more often, but what I'm doing, it's not vastly different. I've leaned in. If anything, I've spent more time calming my clients' fears, calming them down, giving them new strategies, helping them pivot. Dude, one of my clients has cleared $65,000 in the last 2 weeks on a program that didn't exist 2 weeks ago. Like,
right, so you're helping them pivot. I want to talk about that for a second. I want to stop you. Yeah. But so you say you're trying to calm your clients' fears, right? So you said that you don't think this is the new normal. So you may think that this is a blip. I kind of feel the same way, right?
Well, we
so
can't. There's
are
no
your
way
clients
built
that
to
are
stay
fearful? are your clients that are fearful? Are they thinking that this is the new normal, or what?
Well, you know what? I think they're fearful, and here's what it is. I think most people have fear around unknown. If you think about watching a scary movie, it's scary. Alfred Hitchcock created movies where he didn't show the monster because your imagination could create something far scarier than what he could create. And so that's what it is. It's the unknown. And what people are afraid of right now, if they really are on, it's like, I'm afraid because I just don't know. We like to know everything. I want to binge watch shows so I know what's going on in the show. Like, I want to be up to date. I want to talk. There's this desire for immediate gratification to know everything. And you can see it in kids, because kids eat more nowadays than ever, wanting to know everything what's going on, right? So the problem that we have, I believe we're scared. A lot of people have fear because I don't know what to do. I don't know what action to take. So I get very stagnant. I get boggled in, and I get tight. And so what happens is I try to help them expand and realize when you can ride the wave, you can surf and enjoy. If you ever go surfing, those who hate surfing are the ones that can't get on the surfboard. I hate the surfing. The wave comes like, oh, I'm drowning, and I hate it. It's because they're not doing the work to learn to get up on the surfboard and ride the wave. So like essentially an interesting metaphor is I just teach people how to get up on the surfboard and ride the waves in. And when you do it, it's enjoyable. It's still hard work. I mean, you still get that rash in your stomach, but you learn how to ride the wave, and damn it, you look good.
Yeah. So you got to be able to have move and kind of go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? So you said, I heard you say you taught one of your clients how to pivot just with 65,000, right? So what I say to that is uncertainty always breeds opportunity, right?
Always.
So my man said swag and surf. Okay, I feel that. Rick says he doesn't think this is the new normal. So listen, so go back to that. So give the audience an idea of how you help that client pivot, and maybe they can take something away from that they can apply to their own life.
So the first part of it, it wasn't all strategy. I think some people are like, what's the strategy I can do? And part of it is going to be a strategy you apply, but no matter what it is, before this hit, a lot of people had strategies they just didn't execute on, or they halfway did, or they slow played it, and things that they never got traction. I started the book, I started the course, I started the website, and then we never revisited it. So it's not always a strategy. So what it was with this specific client was we went in, and there was an area where they had been kind of delving into an online space in their industry. And what they were trying to figure out was, how do I take my brick and mortar that's now no longer operational? How do I get this thing to be online? There was stress around, like, I don't know, like, if I got to pay my mortgage, how my bills gonna get paid. And I was like, all right, well, you've been doing this thing with me for the last 4 months, 5 months. Let's just get all these people, brick and mortar, get them online like you're already doing. So do that. And then now we went to focus on not just panning for gold, but I want you to start selling gold pans. She's like, what do you mean sell gold pans? I was like, well, if you've already done this, she's been doing it for about 3 years. Like, you've already done this. Then I would go take the basics, the foundations, teach somebody something they can do quickly, like in a 3-4 hour thing, get them operational so they can run and do your thing. She's like, okay, I'll put it together. So she did it for 3 days. She put it in place, built the little pages she needed to do. I gave her a script for the video. She posted it, put it up. And then what she did, great question coming up. Then what she did is she put it into place. We hopped in a call 4 days later, like right after she put the post up. And on the call, bing, the first alert for the first sale. So since then, she is like 300 plus people have joined the program she's on. She's been on webinars that have like 3,000 people at her associations. I just kept nudging her. And the lesson within this is I had to get her to see something that wasn't visible to her in the moment. And the way she saw it was by me leaning into having her take an action in that strategy that didn't seem like it was going to pan out. Like, she didn't know for sure. And so if someone's asking, like, how did I help this person? I said, hey, I'm going to give you something that makes you feel uncomfortable and stretches you, but do this thing. And for me, it's obviously a lot of experience, but then it's like also common sense for some things, logic. She was providing help to people who were behind her. And then she just executed past the point of frustration, pain, and got it done. And she showed up. So it wasn't just a strategy. It was her, like, literally shifting who she saw as herself as an identity of, like, I'm not the person that does that. So now it's like, how do we get this to 6 figures? Like a whole different internal, right? And so that's the thing I want people to grasp is, like, in these moments right now, the pivot isn't just a strategy. The pivot happens in here too. To boldly lean into something and say, pay me for this thing that I know that you don't, even though I've never made it before, even though I've never, right? But the people love it. Like, people are out there shouting it. They're getting on more programs. Like, it's killing it. And the reality was she was the right person. She had the gumption, but I need to nudge a little bit. When she got rolling, damn it, she was rolling. And it's just, it's
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
to watch in the background. So that's really what it is.
I think that's just I think that's a great lead into just coaching in general, right? And I know that's what you do. You help people see the shit that they can't see on their own,
and then operate
right?
around
So
it.
you get the points of view to say, listen, you have this inside you. You know what I'm saying? And people will respond to it. So being able to get yourself around coaching, I think is huge, man. So obviously you're doing a great job at that. We see you helping people every day. But what I heard you say was there's people out there that there's always things they want to do. They wanted to write that book. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that. And listen, I can be guilty of this. There's always 6 or 7 things that are on the list that say, yo, I just don't have time to do. But to the question that's on the screen is, what do you make the best use of your time right now? How do you do that? So to you, are you saying like take this time that you have and get that stuff done? Or what's your take on that?
There's 2 tiers to this, and everybody please pay attention to this. This is gonna be a lot if you get it. If I happen across a person who's broke, the last thing I want to do is give them money. Because they obviously don't know what to do with money. You give them more money, they do more. Follow me, right? So what I do is I'm like, you don't need more money. What you do need, however, is to learn how to manage the money. So right now, the first problem is a lot of people, they have things they want to do, but the reason they haven't got it done is because they're not good with time. Time is value. It's like money's value. If I give you more time, you don't know how to manage your time. It's of no use to you. So you got to get good with your time, just like you got to get good with your money. And then when it comes to the aspect of what you're doing with this time, right? So someone asked the question of what I do with this time. Here's the way I look at this. A lot of people right now are trying to figure out what do I do. And no one likes to do the wrong work. We don't know what the wrong work is. But what I do know is if you're like a samurai back in the day, I'm a metaphor guy. Those of you guys are paying attention. I tell a bunch of stories. If you're a samurai back in the day preparing for battle, you didn't wait until the day of the battle to start sharpening your sword. Like that thing stays sharp, right? You're consistently sharpening it. So when it comes time for battle, you can get up in the middle of the night and go start cutting people in half. And so the way I look at it is right now, what I'm doing is saying, what are the things that I knew before this I wanted to do? And what are some things that I thought about? And what I'm doing now is I'm sharpening my sword. Now I'm doing work that I don't even know if it's the right work. The books I'm reading, the things I'm getting into, I don't know for sure. What I do know, however, is I feel like it'll give me the insight I need. So in the moment when this thing does change, because it's not going to be like this forever. When we come out of this, there's going to be 2 types of people. We're going to come out of this and opportunity will appear. There'll be a gun that goes off. Some people will hear the gun and be prepared to start running. They're like, I'm in the blocks already. I've been doing the books, reading, getting the course in place, getting the team, getting the website. They've been doing the work. So when they see the opportunity, everybody's like, hey, when this all breaks, look at that new thing. They can go. The other person is a person that was wandering to the starting line. They saw everybody go, but they're like, where's everybody going? What's going on?
Yeah.
Because they weren't ready. Like they got tight with their money. Like some people are now pulling back tight, which I get. Like I'm gonna make my money stay tight, but they do say scared money don't make money.
That's
and
right.
Scared money pulls me away from it's. I get siloed. So all I'm doing now is sitting in my house, keeping my pockets tight. I'm not investing, not being around people who are thinking about stuff, not learning how to pivot, not learning the nuances, not hearing anything. So when the gun goes off, what ends up happening is like I'm now so secluded in a silo, keeping my money tight, that my money is now going to run out because I'm behind the ball. Everybody else is sprinting. So like what I would do right now is invest in education big time, invest in learning skill sets that are like for our world. Copy is big. I've already told you about like copy's big.
Yeah, you've been big on the copywriting.
Dude, if you don't figure that out right now, you're going to get lost because everybody used to be at different battlefields. There's a battlefield of like the SEO over there, and a battlefield of like live events, and the battlefield of doing seminars and masterminds. Everybody's in the same battlefield right now of online. And everybody is having to be able to cut through the noise. If you can't communicate clearly with a caption or a video or a sales video, anything, you're going to get drowned out every time. And so right now, like copy's a big one. If you haven't, you got to learn digital systems. You got to start learning how to go online and not build a website, but like, how do you make a funnel that can communicate with people and walk them through a process? Like Apple stores, if you think about it, Apple is a process. I walk in the store, I see something cool, I get to play with it, and someone asks me a question, I get information, then I buy this thing. That really is kind of like a funnel, but in real life. If I got a coupon or I got an email, it's the same thing.
It's a process.
It's a process. We all, every day, if we go to, we see a commercial online or hear a thing, and we go to the you know, we say barbecue at a Burger King, Whopper Jr., or they got the ultimate, you know, the Impossible Whopper. You hear it on the radio, you see it, and then that's part of the funnel. Then I drive by, I check it out, I go in, I get in line. It's a process, and I get my food. I feel good. It's all. The same thing's happening now because we're at home online. If you can't learn how to make your at-home shop run, you're going to fall behind. And so for me, it's like right now, to shortcut the answer, learn the things that you need to learn, and also learn the ones you want to learn, because when this thing changes, you'll be prepared to run with the crowd or you'll get left behind.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think, you know, you want to be as productive as possible right now so that when we do get back to the normal, like you said, not everybody who was at home doing shit that they couldn't do before because they didn't have time, you know, are going to be, you know, running laps behind you. And for what you said is copywriting is huge right now. You and I have talked about that offline many times.
Yeah.
Digital systems. And I would also say phone work. You know,
anything
that you can do on the phone, you know what I'm saying, is super valuable right now. I know people are telling me cold calling has been dead for a long time, but there's a lot of people right now that wish they
chilling at home,
phone skills. You know
chilling at home. They need to. It's that lost art of of calling someone, having a real conversation and chatting. Because honestly, people are not all broke. They're bored right now. Yeah. They're not all sitting at home with no money in their pockets. Like I just today joined. I paid like $1,200 for a program because like that looks good. Like I'm not broke. I'm just bored. And I'm like, I need a new thing. I picked up, I've already taken a course in speed reading and 2 courses on copywriting in the last 2 weeks.
Speed reading, huh?
I speed reading, Jim Quick on Mind Valley. And then I have a course I'm taking this weekend on it's called Brand Blow Up or something, which is on Founder. And then I also am taking one this weekend by Perry Belcher on copyright. I'm just digging in, bro. I'm trying to get all this stuff into my head. So when it comes time, I don't have to go outsource, hire. I can start talking and rolling because something's coming, man. Something's coming.
I'm the same way. So I just got a bunch of new books from Amazon. So I got more books than I know what to fucking do with, but they keep coming in the mail, man. But yeah,
same way.
But here's the thing. Another good site, though, I know you just mentioned Founder. Another one just for the audience out there is Udemy, UDEMY. Great programs on there. I started like 2 or 3 or 4 of those too, just to keep keep busy. But listen, man, I know you got another thing coming, but there's another question on here that says how do you stay? Well, first of all, just to recap on that, I wanted to play devil's advocate with you for real
Please
quick.
do.
So I've seen some people out there. Everybody's saying you got to stay productive during this time. You got to be productive. And to play devil's advocate, do you think that people shouldn't beat themselves up so much if they're not being productive at this time? Because listen, IG is hammering people right now like, yo, you got to take advantage, find the opportunities in the challenge, which
everybody
I agree
is
with, right?
Yeah.
I agree with. You know, in my everyday business, we're trying to find opportunities within the challenge per customer, right? Every customer is dealing with something individualized, right? And you have to have those lines of communication so you can take advantage. But do you think that people shouldn't beat themselves up too much right now if they're just chilling home playing PS4?
I think it depends on the person's heart. Like here's my perspective, right? So there's 2 ways to approach this whenever you're doing something in the service or whatever we're doing programs. One, it either has to be a life preserver, something to save people right now from the problem, because people don't have far reach aspirations. I'm worried about now, right? So it's either life preserver, save me now, or I think it's prepare for the change. Like how do I help someone prepare for the change? So my work, I'm focusing heavily like on people saying, hey, here's how we're going to navigate this situation at hand. I'm going to cover that how do you stay motivated too. How do you have a situation at hand and manage this, right? And then also the thing is, how do I prepare for the unknown? And really what it is like for my work, it's the identity. Like we're in the shifting realm of the world right now. Everything's shifting. And there's a lot of people who don't know how to surf. So for me, like I've been having to come in really at the base of it and teach people new like identity structure of who they are, to how to navigate this so they don't find fear and anxiety and problems behind it. But actually, how do I navigate this well, right? So I think that's a big key thing for people to understand. You're going to be in one of 2 places. And I don't know if tucking away and getting, that point of not beating yourself up is a problem. Now, other part of it is I know that I have a really, really big calling for myself. Whether someone agrees with me or not, I know what I'm supposed to do. And someone who's watching this who knows, like, there's been a calling for you for a long time. Yeah. If you are the person who is okay with sitting back and saying, you know what, I'm just going to chill, I don't want to beat myself up. Like, I get that that's a perspective, but you also have to be okay with the fact that you're actually creating a wedge between you and what you're supposed to be doing. And I call it robbing the world of the gift of you. There's something we have, and if you're in the point of like, it's cool, I'm just going to watch this show, it's no big deal, I'm not going to read that book. Well, what happens when you get to the back end, not only are you hurting yourself and your family because you didn't put that thing out when it came time because the opportunity arose, but you hurt the person who you'll never know needed that. And for me, I don't have, like, I have this dig, and so I do beat myself up, because here's the big thing. A lot of us have an aspiration to be at a place like somebody else in a certain area. And I always question in the moments of my hard days, or like today's like a long day, man. I sit back and I think, hey, does Tony Robbins, P. Diddy, Richard Branson, if they looked at my schedule, would they laugh or agree that it's hard?
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, they're going to be like, that was what you did today? Like, I did all of that in the first 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got to keep ratcheting it, because what I need to do is I need for everything that's hard for me now to be smooth in 2 years. Whatever I'm doing now that's difficult, overwhelmed, that's hard, I need it to be so normal. It's like riding a bike. Because when it happens and I can do that, now I'm a tick above people. Emotionally, I have the same expenditure. Doesn't stress me out. That doesn't stress you out. But the output for me is so much higher that I'm just rocking and rolling. And that for me. So I think if your heart's in a place of like, I don't have a big calling, it's cool. Like, hey, chill out. Don't beat yourself up. But if you're supposed to do something big, you better put some black eyes in your face, man. Beat yourself up. Get the job done.
No, I'm the same way, man. I think it all comes back to exactly what you said, and my answer would be the same thing. It's about self-awareness. Like, you know, you need to know what motivates you, man, or what are, because I beat myself up. Like, if I'm not productive, man, I really beat myself up, because I'm the same too. I'm like, yo, somebody's getting past me, someone da-da-da. And I also think to myself, like, if I'm not, you know, if I'm not uncomfortable, if I'm not uncomfortable, that means 2 months from now, 3 months from now, then it's still going to be hard. The shit I'm doing now is still going to be hard, right?
Always, so, It's just like lifting weights, man. You got to find whatever weight I can't lift right now. Like, if it's too heavy, you got to go down to lower weights and get prepared by lifting more of the lower weights, you know, more reps, and it builds, and it's still hard and it kills you, but eventually with heavy, it becomes easy. It's your normal weight. Like when I was in college going in, I could bench like, you know, 135 or something. I was weak, and it was hard to do that, to the point now where it's like, that was hard. I had to build up, and then I surpassed it so much to where like, oh, I can do 135 for a warm-up, man. Like, that's where you have to be with execution. So Uni Sue 74 said, I'm brushing up on my Spanish. That's a great idea. Actually, like, if you had on your list, like, I want to learn a new language, like, that's dope. I think that's a good idea. Robbing the world, the gift of you. Yeah, that was definitely, Suki said she loved that. She loved that. Can't see, sorry. You got to be in flow. You got to be smooth. Calico said that. So everybody's agreeing with you, saying I always beat myself up, man. I beat myself up too, man. It's all good. You know, I think it's part of it, though. If you're not, you have to have a good balance. You can't beat yourself up and shut down, but you do have to be able to drive yourself, because at the end of the day, no one's going to push like you're going to push you. And if you have that internal, like, clock, like, I always feel like I'm under a gun, but no one's put the gun on me but myself.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, it's like,
that's a good feeling to have.
Yeah, but I can balance it, right? So I can go back and forth. And so that's kind of the question she has now, which is actually good for how do you stay motivated during a bleak time. So the question is, how do you stay motivated during a bleak time? And then do you plan your week in advance? And this is going to creep some people out probably. So the way that I do this, Suki, one is I realize that action ends suffering. If I have these stressful points where I don't feel motivated, I don't sit there and think about the fact that I don't feel motivated. I force myself into some action. It could be a run, it could be a read, it could be a write, it could be a post. I don't go and do things that leave me in that space, because I need to take an action, because my focus goes, my energy flows. And if I focus on this thing at hand, energy goes to emotion and movement, and my physiology will change my psychology.
Change your state.
Yeah, so I actually physically go and move. In between like long meetings with clients, I'll get up and I'll do like 10 burpees. Okay, good. The energy gets going. I get oxygen in my brain. Like, I'm back on. Let's go to work, right? So it's a flow. And the way that I plan my life is this. So I have this very specific schedule that is always at least 4 weeks out. It has to be. If it's not 4 weeks out, I go crazy. And the reason is because I need to know the fourth week. I have to know exactly what I'm doing over 4 weeks. And imagine it like this. Once I eat it, I have to put another week on. So like, I eat it and I lead it. So what I do is I have my 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks out, and I know what I've got going on. I know who's in my schedule, what's going on. I have windows where I can put clients, and I leave it super scheduled and structured. And then what happens, I take these spaces you see highlighted, Before those highlights go in, I put my life in. When am I waking up? When am I eating? When am I working out? What are my standing appointments? When's my date days, my dad days? It goes in. And the highlight stuff is when I take my projects and say, okay, great. I got 5 projects over the next 5 weeks, 4 weeks. This one's 10 hours, 7 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 6 hours, right? And I start taking hour 1 of 10, 2 of 10, 3 of 10. I block it across to meet the deadline. And it's already done. And then what happens every time I eat into a week, I lead out a week. I eat it, I lead it. So every Saturday, I put the next week on the back end. So that way, when somebody comes in, this is big. When somebody comes into my life, I need to be able to tell them, no, I don't have time. Because if I don't, if I have already said yes to my schedule here, if you come ask me for my time and I say yes, I am now saying no to something I already said yes to. Yep. And that's the biggest problem people have, is they don't have a schedule in place to say, let me see where you know what, I can't do it. Well, why can't you? I got my schedule. I don't have time for the next 3 weeks to get this done. I apologize, but this is how my life works, right? And so what happens, I'm now training other people of how to interact with me. I'm okay saying no without feeling bad, because sometimes we feel bad. Like sometimes it's like, I don't want to say no because I really can. But like, I got to say no to you. Not never, but no for the time you're asking right now, so I can keep up with what my dreams are, my aspirations, and serve when I can serve. And that's how my life goes. So it's not a week. It's at minimum always 4 weeks out for me.
Yeah. And that's, it's a great, you eat it and then lead it. And then I love what you said, like, you're putting the onus on the other person, because this is how you operate, right? So if you're trying to get into my operational space, this is how and you and I have a great relationship. I can text Anthony anytime I want. I hit him. I'm like, yo, you want to join my live? He was like, yeah, great. And then he texts me like 5 minutes later. He's like, make sure you send that calendar invite, though.
Got it. It's got to be in.
Though.
This is digital. Every single time that this goes in.
I ordered one of those.
Yes, I got you one. Yeah, every time it comes in, beautiful. And I just take this and make it digital too. So what happens, I always reconcile. So there it goes. Part of my process is, once the thing goes in here, it goes into my phone, which is I'm on right now. I'm looking for my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm talking to it. Yep. It goes in digital. And so if for any reason it's gonna be like, for example, I was like, hey, send me a calendar invite, because what I do is I add it and I leave that email unread until it goes into here. Then when it's unread, I can take it off. When I've read it and put it in here, now it's done. I can get rid of the email. But it's always reconciled. And if it's something where it's going to be digital, I'll have it in there, and then I'll take it, put it here, and then I'll write it in here, and I'll send myself the reminder online, or I'll actually log it in. But it's got to be back and forth, because here's the thing. I need to have clear space to look at my entire day. Digital calendars are cool. You can scroll up, see open spaces, but I need like all the days to look when I can plan things. So I like to have all of it on paper in front of me. I got a pencil with an eraser. If you don't have one, go get a tool. It's a good pen with a long eraser. You can like spin the eraser up. But I seriously have 8 of these pencils that are small. I got a lot because I don't want to run out of them. And if I just tuck it in my book and I close it, it's already ready to go. So it's kind of how I keep my day and operations rolling at all times.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm going to let you wrap up with.
Yeah, I'll answer the last one, and I got 2 more minutes. Do you put hours on a project so you get it done in time? Because we can go to progress along. Okay, so last part of this, and this is huge. Every project that I have to deconstruct the stages, and I've got a lot of practice doing that now, and I teach my clients how to do this, because what we'll do is we'll say, hey, next week I want to focus on, I don't know, launching a podcast. So I'll take, hey, Monday I'm going to do that. And I set aside 2 hours. It takes a lot of work to launch a podcast, right? So you got to really give yourself time. And so what I do is I teach to deconstruct. Okay, where are you going to buy equipment from? When are you going to search for equipment? When are you going to buy the equipment? When are you going to actually find the platform? When are you going to research what platform to use? When are you going to join the platform? When are you going to write the bio? When are you going to get the picture made? All the little things that go in that no one thinks about, but I block it out. Like, that's about a 20-hour project, right? So we'll just break, maybe it's not really it, but let's say it's 20 hours. I'm going to say 2 hours of this, 4 of this, 3 of this, 1 of this. And so now I've got it all broken down. And I say, okay, great. What's the order I'm going to do it? What's the actual step by step? What's step 1, 2, all the way through the order? And then once I've got that done, now what I can do is start infusing it into my schedule the way I was talking about. And so I sometimes overshoot things by like an hour just in case. But here's the beauty. This is the powerful piece. Whenever I infuse it in, what happens is I can now have time where if something goes wrong, like I can always move something forward, right? Or move it back. I can adjust. But if I get done early, move something in the next place. But the really, really unique part is this. we all have a lot of projects sitting on our heads. We got like A, B, C, D projects 7, 8, 9 done, right? And so we'll be working on project A, but thinking about B, C, D, E, and F. We don't know when it's going to get done. It's like, when am I going to get, it's not organized. Once it's out of your head, it's like this amazing breath of fresh air. Like, okay, I can just work on this project and I'll get to the other ones when I have them scheduled. And then here's even better. When I'm out with my kids doing the track or like doing little workouts, like I'm not even thinking about work because I know that it's all where it's supposed to be. No more stress.
It's the beauty of not multitasking, which I think we get into that all day, but yeah, it's the beauty of not multitasking. I know you got to run.
I do.
Stuff to do, but I want you to just finish up with how are you staying motivated? Or if I know you're not having trouble staying motivated.
Yeah,
I can tell people.
You've got, so the thing is, you'll lack motivation if you feel like you're like a leaf in the wind. When we feel like a leaf in the wind blowing around, we lose motivation so quickly. We're all over the place. So what I do is I control what I can control. There's two things I control. I control when I get up. I control what my physical actions are, what I eat. Just control things. When you have control, you feel more at ease and more at peace, right? It's a big thing. But what happens is you also need to learn to control your emotions when things happen outside of your plans. We've always heard this, like, you can control how you react to something. It's not controlling the reaction, it's controlling my emotions. When emotion gets high, intelligence is real low. I don't think logically, I say things I don't mean, I act all over it like erratic. So when things happen, when things are changing, I got to stay home longer, I can't go to work. The thing that I go in is I teach people how to control the emotions and then navigate the little situations that are going on in the background. And if you can do it and breathe and then take like this, okay, I have control over X, Y, and Z, I can enter back into it with motivation, because motivation comes from hope. If I feel helpless, I have less hope. If I feel like I have some control, I can create another thing by doing work. I get hope, motivation comes back in.
Yeah, man, that's great. Just stay active, man. Stay busy. And
that's it.
I love what you said about I'm the same way, man. You said it earlier. Motion causes emotion, right?
Yeah,
so
it does.
That's the big takeaway, man. Stay active. If you got shit you haven't been able to do, man, get it done. You got time. Stay home. All right, man. Everybody was loving it. Anth, I know you got to roll, man. Go ahead. I'll let you go. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Appreciate you guys too. Take care. God bless, my man.
All right. Peace.